I feel like the 4-position Naga Siren is incredibly strong. The utility of the ultimate is insane. The tankiness that she brings to the support role is a little bit unique, and we saw especially Team Secret wreck with it at the ESL 1
10
Frankfurt.
seconds remaining.
Yeah, I think that the hero's just incredibly safe to play with. You
5
don't want to play
seconds
against
remaining.
it if it's a carry, because it's one of those heroes that can just single-handedly win. And so I think a hero like Naga is just a
Reserve
safe
time.
pick early on. It doesn't show you too much of your hand because you can run it in a lot of different roles, but obviously with the gyrocopter picked up, it's really like unlikely that it'll be a 1 position, especially with the way that gyro farms. Like, you don't want to split Naga's farm with the gyrocopter because you're going to naturally push out all the lanes. So it's probably not going to be a mid Naga, although it can be because it is Radiant side, but I would be surprised.
Tusk is the second pickup for Team FNATIC. Of course, Tusk has been seeing a lot of play, 4-position, off lane. Either way, he's
FNATIC's
versatile enough in his
turn to
role that I
ban.
would say he's a very valuable early pickup. It doesn't set your draft in one way or another. Our second set of bans coming out, the Keeper of the Light, a notable pickup from Team Secret, especially run with the Naga Siren.
10 seconds
A lot of spam
remaining.
coming out, a lot of defensive capabilities, and now the Bloodseeker, who has been known
turn
to
to
be
ban.
a very strong combo hero in the current meta. I really feel like Bloodseeker is going to come to the foray in this tournament. I feel like he's going to be one of those heroes that a couple teams are going to pick up in
10
that
seconds
3-4 position
remaining.
and just dominate with, simply because he's maybe not necessarily
5 seconds
overpowered, but
remaining.
he does bring a very unique skill set that
Reserve
no
time.
other hero can really match.
Yeah, we actually didn't see the hero at all yesterday, if I remember correctly. It
Not
wasn't
a
even
single
banned
game, I
by
think.
any of the teams, if I remember.
Mm-hmm.
I think Bloodseeker is a really good hero, but I think people overrate him in a sense.
Yep.
I don't think that he's not like Leshrac to me, where you pick Leshrac and you can pretty
Team
much develop a
Secret's
lineup around him,
turn to
but
pick.
I think the concept of that, what you just talked about, like having, you know, popular heroes come to the forefront, especially in this metagame, I think it's really the concept of like those, you know, those hidden picks or stuff that you don't want to show.
Yeah.
I guess is kind of pointless. I don't think any team will have more than like 1 or 2 pocket strategies. Like if you remember TI3, TI4, you pretty much saw what teams were going to pick.
10
Like there was no
seconds
real
remaining.
pocket picks or anything like that. It's more just pocket strats, like the way that
5
you play
seconds
the
remaining.
lineup that matters more than what you're actually going to pick.
FNATIC's
Because nobody's just
turn
going to
to
be
pick.
like, I'm going to first pick Darkseer and then run him as a mid or something like that. Yeah, stuff like that doesn't happen.
Yeah, I can see what you're saying here. Viper now being picked up for Team Secret gives them a good amount of early game power. Both the Gyrocopter and Viper as cores are able to do a good amount of damage there in the early to mid game. The Viper obviously very notable for his tankiness. He's going to
10
be quite a
seconds
strong
remaining.
matchup versus the Queen of Pain. In a 1 versus 1 scenario,
5
the Viper
seconds
does quite well
remaining.
because you basically eliminate Shadow Strike from the Queen of Pain's repertoire. Like
Reserve
usually
time.
when it's the 1 versus 1, right, you avoid Shadow Strike in the laning phase part and go for maybe like a 0-2-3 build, or maybe you just go 1-1-3 but don't really use the Shadow Strike because that Viper of course has his corrosive skin and you don't want to be actually dealing more damage to yourself than you're dealing to the Viper.
Yeah, I think you still go with the 1 level of Dagger just for the ganks.
Right.
And the counter ganks, but
You just don't use
yeah,
it.
you just don't use
Right.
it against the Viper, but I'm curious to see if that's a mid Viper, because I know RTZ doesn't like playing it. Even back in like the EG days,
Team
he would complain about
Secret's
having to
turn
play
to
it
pick.
because it's not his type of hero. You can't snowball with it.
But to be fair, what mid player likes playing Viper? You know?
But it's gonna be S4, so it's pretty irrelevant, I guess. But nobody really likes to play Viper mid, but it's just such a game-winning hero. Like I think I called it before this tournament. I was
You
like,
did.
Viper.
We had a
It's like,
conversation.
Viper's
Viper
gonna
and
be picked,
Razor.
Viper's gonna be a pick like all the time. If you can't get Viper, you'll get Razor. Viper, I think, has like an 80% win rate
10
so far in
seconds
the
remaining.
wild card. And I think teams
wow.
are just seeing the strength of the hero again. Like it's been
5
pretty stable,
seconds
right?
remaining.
It's just annoying to play against. If you decide to put it in a one-on-one position, it beats almost everything.
Reserve
Like we saw
time.
that in, I think it was almost all of MVP Phoenix's games. Like they would very often just put the Viper one-on-one against the offlaner, and then you can go aggressive tri-lane or do dual lanes. It just opens up your map a lot.
Yeah, he's just such a strong
FNATIC's
1 versus 1
turn
hero
to pick.
that it gives you that opportunity to not only potentially win the mid matchup, but as you said, switch things up, maybe run something aggressive, and then leave the Viper safe lane, which is then even worse than the 1 versus 1 mid, because then the Viper has all that extra room to utilize his movement speed advantage, basically, right? Like he's very damage over time focused, he slows you down, so being able to have a longer lane to be able to chase you means the Viper is just that much more powerful in a 1 versus 1. But I do like what FNATIC get against the Viper here. So they grab the Visage, but it's a Wind Ranger who is pretty important to me. I feel like Wind Ranger is quite strong versus Viper. The focus fire is a really good way to output a lot of single target physical damage against the Viper, and of course the Wind Run dodging a large share of damage as well. I feel like the Wind Ranger is one of the few heroes that can actually maybe win that 1 versus 1 against Viper, though I still think it's one-sided to the Viper. I still think it's like more like a 60-40.
Yeah, it might even be more than that. I remember like I played in some like in-house league recently. Maybe it was FPL, and I had to play that matchup. It was like Wind Ranger versus Viper. You would think that the Wind Run helps a lot, but if you really think about it, like Wind Ranger has 1 or 2 armor starting in. Her base damage actually isn't that fantastic.
Right.
And every time you load a power shot, the Viper wants to get hit by it. Because it's just not efficient for you to use mana on Wind Run because it costs so much.
5 seconds
like all of your spells cost roughly 100 mana. You have like a 350 mana pool. Like you want to be using those on power shots, right? Yeah. It's really rare that in a mid matchup that you're going to get an opportunity to shackle to set up for a kill. I am curious to see how they run this Wind Ranger pick though. I'm pretty sure they're going to put the quad mid and aggro with like Visage, Wind Ranger plus like, I don't know. I would do something like Earthshaker, but something more even interesting than that is the fact that Pudge was banned as the last ban. Maybe it's like one of 2 things, right? It's like Secret either uses it as like a last pick to throw things off for like an off-lane Pudge or something like that, or Mushi was just like, I don't really care what I ban because he's known to do
10 seconds remaining.
Yeah, that's true. What do you think about the Crystal
5 seconds remaining.
Because this is the support that has been out of meta for a while, and then this recent patch, an upgrade to her ultimate, an upgrade to Frostbite, has made her a lot more viable. And then actually the last buff as well was Crystal Nova slowing down attack speed, which I think I've talked to you about this before. You said you were talking to one of the pro players, and like this attack speed slow is quite significant because it means in those sort of like 1 versus 1 where you're zoning out the offlaner or something like that, like that just means you win the right click battle as well, right?
Yeah, I think AUI pointed that out too when we did our patch analysis video. He said the attack speed slow is pretty significant, but I think it goes beyond that. I think Crystal Maiden early game just ruins the Queen of Pain. Like it's one of the better heroes to gank with because if Frostbite goes off, then it's almost a guaranteed kill. Yep. So what I would like to see out of Secret's lineup is they just play aggressively. Like the Crystal Maiden, I think, can even start in the jungle, grab a smoke, grab boots, and then just at level 2 or 3, when you've got pretty much a level of everything, you just go around the map killing. And I think that the Crystal Maiden pick is also maybe in response to FNATIC potentially aggressive tri-laning. Because that's what I would do if I was FNATIC here, I think. I think I would pick like Visage, Wind Ranger plus Earthshaker. That was the old LGD combo that they picked almost every single game. That was so successful for them.
Darkseer being the last pickup for Team Secret. Pretty good combination with the Gyrocopter being able to vacuum together for the call down, and then you actually have the Naga Siren Sleep to set it all up beforehand. So you get a good sleep, a couple of heroes are grouped up, you lay down the wall preemptively. You also have the Crystal Nova that's going to be on top of all that, so or rather the Freezing Field as well. So I like the combination, and it does give them an amazing amount of sustain because that can afford to go for the mech, and that would then leave our Viper to go for maybe a little bit more stats folks build and early agonims, and I feel just as a whole that this is so much team fight, and FNATIC are known to be a rather aggressive team and want to be able to fight you, and the lineup that they picked up is more damage focused. It feels like Team Secret are just going to be able to live through that damage. They have enough sustain that they're just going to last you, and then their damage over time starts kicking in, whether it's the Ion Shell, the Viper, of course, very damage oriented, and certain people like the Gyrocopter early on with his flat cannon. So
This is, I like what Team Secret have done with their lineup. It feels like FNATIC
Prepare for battle.
are a lot more focused on performance in the early game.
I actually really like that Witch Doctor pick, because if you look at Secret's lineup, they actually don't have a whole lot of disables to stop it. And I feel like if there's like one support ultimate that really ruins your life, it's the Witch Doctor ultimate. That can turn it by itself.
All right, starting things off here, Team Secret. We've got, well, let's just cover who's playing what first before we actually have a stab at what the lanes are. We got Puppy, who's going to be playing the Crystal Main, Zai on the Dark Seer, S4 going to be playing the Viper, Kuro on the Naga Siren, and that leaves Arteezy on the Gyrocopter.
I think that's pretty standard. I think that's what we discussed earlier, right? Because you can't really put the Gyrocopter mid, but he's just going to go for the Ring of Aquila, sustain the lane, and I think the better thing for Secret to do here is just run the Crystal Maiden around.
So in which case then we, like, you just lead the Viper there, you move the Crystal Maiden around. What do FNATIC need to do to actually put pressure on Team Secret? Because I kind of feel like they have to set the tempo in the first 15 minutes.
Yeah, I think it's not even the lineup thing. I actually really like FNATIC's lineup, but I feel it's more just the fact that if you're FNATIC, you know you're the underdog coming into this game.
Yeah.
So I feel like against a team like Secret, especially, the way to beat them is to set your own pace early and wait for them to get frustrated and overextend. Because I feel like EG is a little bit more disciplined in nature in that regard. I feel like EG is the team that will always have the comeback advantage, but I feel like Secret is the team that really relies on having just like a dominant lead.
All right, and as we get things going here, let's talk about FNATIC. We got Mushi playing the Wind Ranger mid up against S4's Viper. We'll see how that matchup goes. The top lane, we do have a defensive tri-lane. Ketchik Imba is playing the Visage. Johnny on the Witch Doctor, KYXY playing that Queen of Pain. And that just leaves Ohio as our off-lane Tusk, who is currently being zoned out quite heavily by Kuro. I did like this early counter ward that I placed out. This blocks out the camp and actually happened to spot out a early laning ward that Secret put out. So that actually is quite fortuitous for him, but is he actually going to be able to come forward in lane enough? Because it is a bit dangerous. Like, Kuro can win the 1-versus-1 matchup, and then if he sticks around a bit too long and Arteezy gets in range, he's going to get rocket barraged out.
Yeah, this is the old Alliance strat too. You just get a support Naga and then give her a Poor Man Shield. And because of her natural move speed, like if you just click on her hero, her stats are unbelievable early game as a support. She's got 6 armor, 320 move speed. Then you've got the block from the Poor Man Shield, so even if you get tanked by the creep wave, it doesn't matter.
And he's got Arcane Aura as well.
Yeah.
So he's able to spam out Riptides more often. Top lane looks like Zai's going to be taking some damage. Not level 2 just yet. So the double slows are actually doing a good amount of work. Zai, I think, will survive. He's actually dropping very low here, and a couple more right clicks than they would have got him. But he is going to be forced into the potion. He still had Shadow Strike on him, so that's a big loss for Zai, which means he will be forced back to base. Meanwhile, in the middle lane, we've got an even CS lead here for Mushi. He's just one deny up over S4. Of course, feeling a lot of pressure from Johnny. This is sort of a signature thing for FNATIC, though, right?
Yeah, they actually, I think somebody else pointed it out too when we were doing breakfast.